What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today I will be reviewing the Netflix miniseries, The Queen's Gambit. So The Queen's Gambit is a 7-episode Netflix original miniseries that was released last year, and I actually did want to review this last year, but there was a lot of stuff happening and a lot of things kind of got in the way, but I am finally talking about this show. It was directed by Scott Frank, and it stars Anya Taylor-Joy, one of my favorite new actresses around. I love her. I think she's amazing in everything she's done. Everything from Morgan to The Witch to Glass and Split, and I just think she is an absolute prodigy in her field. So The Queen's Gambit is set in the late 50s and into the 60s, and it tells the story of Elizabeth Harmon, who from a very young age discovers a passion and natural talent for chess. She was orphaned at just 9 years old and discovered the game of chess during her time at the orphanage, and the 7-episode miniseries follows Beth on her journey into adulthood and in her burning passion for chess. That was a very half-hearted plot synopsis of the show, and that's because it's actually extremely hard to summarize. Because this show is about much more than just chess. The Queen's Gambit is very deep, very emotional, occasionally dark, and one of the best shows that I have ever seen, and I am fully comfortable saying that it is absolutely my favorite miniseries that I've ever seen. And one of the best things about it, actually, is that you don't have to be that into chess to love it. Before I watched it, I had a very high amount of respect for chess, and people who knew the ins and outs of it knew how to play, because it is a very complex game. After I finished The Queen's Gambit, I actually became very interested in chess. So you can go in not being interested in chess at all, you'll love it, but it's that good that it just might make you want to learn how to play chess. And I did. I'm not even kidding. After I finished this show, I started learning. I literally took an entire day to learn the names of all the pieces, learn the abbreviations for all the squares on the 64 square board, learning all the moves that each piece can make. Spent a whole day learning all of that, and then I did a few test games. I started playing with some other people. I've been practicing online and all of that stuff, and I'm really enjoying it. Chess is actually a very fun game, but as I said, that's just kind of a fun little side thing. The show is about so much more than just chess. And it makes it known from episode 1 that it is not afraid to get heavy. The opening scene of episode 1 takes place a few years down the road, which, those events take place in some of the final episodes of the show. And you're watching it, and, the scene is about her getting to a chess game. But the way it's directed, and the way it's shot, and the lighting, and especially the way that the title is presented, you can just tell immediately right off the bat, there is going to be a lot more here than just, yay, get to the chess game, win the chess game. Like, there's going to be a lot more to this show than just that. It is an impeccably told story. It is so well paced, and it's one of those shows where when you hear what it's about, you're like, I'll probably recognize that it's good, but, it's probably going to be kind of slow, kind of boring to watch. For me personally, I didn't think it was slow at all. I thought every episode moved at a perfect pace, and also because of the way that they set up the characters. These are amazing characters. I want to see more of these characters, though I do think that they shouldn't make a second season. It's a mini-series, 7 episodes, one and done. I think it ended pretty perfectly, and we'll talk about that, later in the video. It's one of those shows where it feels like these characters existed before the show did. And even after the show ends, it feels like that they're going to live their lives, they're going to live on, more is going to happen with them, even if you never see it. And that's a sign of great writing and great character building. It flows very well. None of the episodes feel inconsequential. Each and every one of them has at least one thing that majorly affects the story from there on out. Especially because of the fact that it is literally chronicling Beth's life from childhood as an orphan into a full-grown woman in her early 20s. It never felt choppy, it never felt jarring when time passed. You felt like that the specific period of time in her life that they covered started when it should and ended right when it should. And then, they do like a mini time jump a year later, a couple years later, and then, follow her all the way into adulthood. Beth Harmon is one of my favorite main characters in a very long time. She's one of my favorite main characters in a while. I love this character. And Anya Taylor-Joy, I mentioned this briefly before. She is incredible in this show. I absolutely adored her performance, and everything kind of speaks for itself. She won the Golden Globe, and she's now nominated for an Emmy, and if you ask me, it's really looking like she's going to win it. She really knew what parts of the character to remain consistent with, and what parts of the character needed to change as she got older. And it is gorgeously crafted. They captured this time period so well. The costume design, the cinematography, the set design, and the score, it all feels completely authentic. And there's also great side characters. I mean, don't get me wrong, Beth is an incredible character, but Benny, Towns, Alma, the character development for all of these people is so good. And Benny, he's played by Thomas Brody Sangster, so I may be somewhat biased because I really love Thomas Brody Sangster, but Benny might be my favorite character in the show, and his dynamic with Beth, I'm not going to give anything away, but his dynamic with Beth is probably one of my favorite character dynamics in the show as well. And generally, the show is very unpredictable. Now, why do I say generally? Well, I say that because for about the first few episodes, like not even the first half of the show, but like the first few couple of episodes, you can kind of predict dramatically certain things that are going to happen that, kind of need to happen for the story to work. It's not a problem with logic, it's just the fact that you can kind of predict it. But after the first, I'd say 3 or 4 episodes, I had no idea where it was going. I definitely had a lot of predictions, but the show managed to consistently surprise me, which is so refreshing, especially now. The show is very uplifting, but it can also be very tragic. It's kind of a rock star story in a way. Of Beth, growing up, pursuing this dream, wanting to become the world chess champion. She meets a lot of people, she gets exposed to a lot of things, she's exploited in some cases, and she falls victim to a lot of things that new celebrities kind of, fall victim to as they kind of get caught up in the fame and everything like that. I love the marketing material of her in front of the chessboard. That's my favorite poster for the show. Her in front of the chessboard, and you see chess pieces, but you also see a bottle of alcohol on one of the squares. You see a bottle of pills on one of the squares. Really great metaphorical imagery, and those are definitely major themes in the show, and it makes it known from episode 1. It can get very anxiety inducing and pretty tragic during some scenes because you really care. These are some of the best executed character arcs that I've ever seen. I don't think it could have been done better. And the ending I thought was absolutely perfect. I loved it. I didn't think that there was a better way that they could have ended this show. Now, granted, this is based off of the novel. I have not read said novel, so I don't know what things were changed, but I have talked with people who have read the novel, and even they ended up loving the show. So they executed the ending perfectly. And I can't think of a better way that this story could have ended. It was just so emotionally satisfying without being unrealistic. And that's hard to do. Guys, in the end, The Queen's Gambit is my absolute favorite miniseries that I've ever seen. It's only 7 episodes long. It's on Netflix right now. Please go watch it. Do not make assumptions. Do not be turned off by, on the surface, what it is. Like chess. Ew, I don't want to watch a show about chess. Guys, it is about so much more than just chess. And I guarantee every single person who watches it will end up loving it in some way, even if it's only specific to them. So let's grade this thing. I'm going to give The Queen's Gambit an A+. So guys, The Queen's Gambit, have you seen it? If so, what did you think about it? Comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And also, what is your favorite miniseries of all time? What's your favorite Netflix original? And what is your favorite performance of Anya Taylor-Joy? Also, I am so excited. Like, this is completely irrelevant, except for the fact that it's about Anya Taylor-Joy. She's in a new movie being directed by Edgar Wright, I believe, called Last Night in Soho. That trailer, man, I am so excited for that movie. Oh my god. Thanks so much for watching, guys. It really does mean a lot. Look forward to my review of Beastars Season 2 coming very, very soon, and also a spoiler review for Season 1 of Beastars. I actually filmed that last week. It ended up being an hour and a half long, but I did it. There was just so much about that first season that I wanted to talk about, so look forward to that review. And also, I recently reviewed A Quiet Place Part 2, so check that out too. Thanks so much for watching, guys. It really does mean a lot. I'll see you in the next video, and until then, keep writing, keep shooting, and keep editing.